Throwback weekend in the books. What a fun one it was. And Denny Hamlin's pit crew, they are clutch in the clutch moment. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday. Shannon Spake here on NASCAR Daily. I am so excited. I love Throwback weekend at Darlington. Denny Hamlin getting 2 in a row, now going for 3. And he's here with us today to break it all down. Denny Hamlin, welcome back again. Week 2. Congratulations on the win. I know last week you said that win was for Chris Gale. That's why it meant the most. I'm assuming this week, your crew guys, your over the wall guys, this is all for them, huh?
It is absolutely. It's so. It's interesting. Week in, week out, we are the drivers, so we're the ones that are going to get the headlines, and it's going to be in our stat column and things like that. But every now and then you have. And there's always money stops throughout a race. But there's when it comes down to a green, white checkered, and you know that if you get out first, your chance of winning is exponentially higher. Like that is the money stop for them. That is their opportunity to shine. So yesterday was us putting the ball in their hands and then them taking it and winning it.
But I think a little bit, you got to nail it too. So when you're coming in on that last stop and I heard you say post-race that you got to roll the right way, you got to get your timing, you can't speed, all that stuff. There's a lot still in your hands to allow them to get it right. So what is that like? There are athletes that want the ball in their hand for that final play, and that's kind of what you guys do when you come down pit road because you're setting them up to be able to do their jobs. Are you thinking about that as you're pulling down pit road?
Absolutely. So what I'm thinking really that last stop in general is that, okay, I'm coming in third. I know that it's going to be hard for my team to get me from third to first just on their time. So I need to get time on the other drivers as well. So, it's also proud that, I was, the fastest guy on pit road in all my metrics during that last stop as well. So you put those two things together and next thing you know, you come out, in third, out first. And so the field is so close in every single way. Drivers are close on pit road, but when you just add those little elements of making sure you put just perfect so they don't have to move, they don't have to shuffle to the front or the back. When you can put it right there on that sign perfectly, it's you give those guys an opportunity to really nail one out.
Dude, I love it for you, right? Because how many times have you had to listen to Denny lost it on pit road or
Yes.
something? Seriously. And to go out there and to be able to now have the conversation about how you won it on, that's all I could think about when that last pit stop happened. So do you pull off pit road and are you like, oh, I really hope I wasn't speeding. I hope something didn't, like you're like waiting for Chris Gale to like key your radio, or do you know that you nailed it?
I knew I nailed it. I knew that I was all good.
Yeah.
I ran all the lights I was supposed to when I was supposed to do it. The main thing for me nailing was I knew I nailed my entry of pit road, my entry of my box to the exit of my box. So my acceleration out of the box was really, really strong. And so that to me was one of the key factors, I think, in all this happening. But yeah, it's, I went through, 2019 through 2021. I can tell you we lost 5-10 races on pit road. And so
championships on pit road, Denny. It's, it's been your nemesis.
It's been tough. But we got a group of guys here that has been with me now for the last few years. They're gelling. They're really young. Awesome. But man, it's great to see them performing.
It's awesome. A lot of talk about how Gibbs Racing has just kind of come out this season so strong, 5 wins now. The beginning of the year, like preseason, did you know that this is where you guys were going to be, because you didn't win as an organization for a good chunk of the season last year?
Yeah, I still think we have work to do. I know that it looks good, right? We've won 5 of 8, but it's like there's been some different races. I feel like we've dominated like 2 races. I think Seabell, his win at Phoenix, and then mine kind of at Martinsville. But beyond that, I just feel like we still are lacking a little bit of speed, and so we still got to go to work. It's great that we're winning races that statistically probably we shouldn't. So yeah, we got a lot of work to do, but it's certainly encouraging to win races when you can just keep yourself in a game like we are right now.
And all the talk, of course, this week going to Bristol is going to be about you trying to get 3 in a row. When Christopher did it, are you sitting across from him on Monday morning going, dang,
Mhm.
that's where I want to be? And
Well,
now it's your chance.
especially because it came at my expense. If you remember the last lap at Phoenix, right? I mean, I'm leading on the last lap, and then he takes over. But that's what's been really cool is I've been in the lead on the last lap of half the races this year. So we've really been strong all around, and so I'm really encouraged by that. I love it for Chris Gale and the team.
Hmm.
I love it for myself. I was truthfully worried about this season coming up. Like, man, are we going to have a drop in performance or not? How's mine and Chris's relationship going to mesh? All those things were big questions for me. And again, like you talked about, hadn't won at the end of the second half of last year. So, it does put a little doubt in your mind here and there about, what, is the team capable? Am I still capable? But it's great to get off on the right foot like we have, and certainly being, top two in points now.
Before I let you go, the Boo Birds were out last night, weren't they? What
Yeah.
in the heck, man? I listen. I know there was no flag. You didn't give
No.
people that. Listen, and you told us here on Daily that a fan had given you that flag because I listened to the radio and I heard people say, "I wish Denny." I loved it, dude. I think like I love it when you get on that car. I think that there's no such thing as bad publicity. There's no such. I mean, you're getting a reaction out of people, which
Yeah.
I think is great. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind making people feel a certain kind of way, and whatever way they want to feel, that's okay with me, right? I just, as long as I don't get claps, like when they introduce you at driver intros and you just get a few claps, that's the worst. And so I can tell you this. There's no doubt in my mind that Kyle Busch wishes he got the booze now that he got a few years ago, because it means that you're
That's
you're
right.
up front and you're doing a lot of good things.
That's right. So, congratulations on all of that then, Denny Hamlin, and I hope to talk to you next Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's make this a weekly thing.
All right, congratulations.
Thanks.
Always appreciate time from Denny Hamlin. Let's break down the race because there was definitely some heartbreak out there at the Lady in Black this weekend. Number one, William Byron. What a heartbreaker it was. Had such a dominant car. Started on the pole, led 243 of the 297 laps. And I know that people on social media were already talking about William Byron going ahead and getting that perfect race out at Darlington, which would have been great. He's had his heart broken there before. So he goes out and, of course, does not get the win because of so many different things that kind of took place. I think the biggest thing on the day, Kyle Larson, early on in the race, he has the spin, goes back into the garage. That was on lap 4. He does come back out 160 laps down. So it's really interesting that the damaged vehicle policy, the new one that allows these cars to get back onto the racetrack, ultimately did kind of affect the outcome of the race because then, of course, with 4 laps to go, Kyle Larson once again brings out the caution. Ryan Blaney leading the race at that time looked as if this was Ryan Blaney's race to win. He only had led a couple of laps, 2 laps, in fact, after Reddick led 42. So second only to William Byron. Those were your 3 guys. And then, of course, it goes into overtime, and Denny Hamlin and his crew get it done. Denny Hamlin drives on off to get his second victory in a row. And of course, Darlington is a place we know Denny has loved for so long. It is so hard to pick a best day ever after the best weekend ever, throwback weekend. I used to have so much fun. You guys, we were able to dress up and kind of do it all with wigs and costumes and all that stuff when I was working on the TV show. And my favorite throwback was when I wore my mom's wedding dress. We got a picture of that. So my mom is in this picture. I'm in this picture. I did a wig to kind of look exactly like her. This was my favorite throwback weekend of Darlington. So I do have to give a little bit of love to Carson Quapple. This was my favorite car of the weekend. You guys know Jamie McMurray is one of my very good friends and worked with him for a really long time. So I loved this paint scheme. I remember this year vividly when Jamie won the Daytona 500, and then of course won at the Brickyard. What a season it was for him! And so this was my favorite paint scheme. I also loved Greg Biffle. Everything about this, he understood the assignment and he delivered A plus 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 with the sleeveless shirt. Love it, Greg. You're awesome. 10-4. I think you should just wear this every time you show up at the racetrack. I mean, why not? We're going to have a busy week here on Daily. We get to talk to the Jack guy from Denny Hamlin, Joel. He's going to join us later in the week, kind of talk about that last pit stop and getting it done for Denny Hamlin. Can't wait for that. And we'll be back on Wednesday. See y'all soon.